My name is George Roberts. You want to know my age? 89. I'm 89 years old. And you want to know where I was born? I was born in Benton County, Rogers, Arkansas.
In your relationship to me?
And my relationship to Connor is his great-grandfather.
Right.
I was married, yes. I married, my wife was named Betty Bates when I married her.
How old were you guys? How old were you two?
I was 21 years old.
And how old was she?
19.
And did you guys have a family?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, she was 19.
And did you have a family? Well, obviously you did, but can you?
Yes, my mother and my father.
Well, I mean, below you, like, her and...
Oh, did me and Betty have a family?
Yes.
Yes, we had 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. Do you want me to tell you why they bombed them?
No, just tell us your experiences in them.
Yes, I was in the service at the time that they bombed them, and I thought it was a very good thing that they done.
And why do you think that?
Why did I think that? Because Japan was whipped, but they wouldn't surrender, and so the smart people in the army figured out that there would be at least 1 million casualties of the Allies if they went into to attack Japan, and that meant that there'd probably be 300,000 or 400,000 or 2 or 3 million Japanese killed, and actually there wasn't as many people killed with the atomic bomb as if we would have attacked them, and besides that, it probably saved my life.
My name is Kathy Autry, and I was actually born in 1953. I have 2 children, my daughter Sherry and my son Edward, and I have a grandson from my daughter named Connor Roberts Copley, and I am very proud of him for being in the Army. I'm also married. I have been married for 19 years.
When JFK was assassinated?
I was very young at the time.
How old?
I was in the 5th grade, I believe, and I know that when it happened, the school that I was attending at the time completely shut down, and I went home and my mother was very upset, and I sat and watched the news. I was, I think, about 10 years old, but I do know that the world was mourning quite a bit because he was a great president.
We landed the first man on the moon?
I remember, yes, but I can't tell you the date.
Oh, you don't have to, but how did you feel?
Well, I felt the reason that we landed a man on the moon was JFK, John F. Kennedy, was president at the time, and Russia, the communists were trying to overwhelm us. And this was a race. This was at the beginning of the outer space programs. And so Russia had put a man that circled the Earth that was called Sputnik, and they had a man in it. And so John F. Kennedy got the American people to try to go to the moon, and we did. And we've bested Russia ever since. And in science. I wasn't in the Vietnam War, but one of my sons was, George. Paul never was in.
He didn't go, but he was drafted.
He never did go overseas.
No, he didn't.
But the reason that they went to war in Vietnam was because Russia was trying to push communism to the world. And the United States felt they should try to stop them. And so they kept the Vietnamese got into a war between the North Vietnamese and South Vietnamese, and the North was communist and the South was democratic, so we helped the South out. And I thought it was a necessary war. It stopped Russia, or slowed her down.
Your personal experiences about the Vietnam War.
I was actually a young teenager at the time. I had two older brothers that were going to be drafted into the Vietnam War. One, my oldest brother, actually enlisted into the Navy, so he wasn't drafted. And then my second brother ended up being drafted into the Vietnam War. My oldest brother had made friends, came home on leave, and unfortunately we lost one in Saigon in 1970. I personally feel that the war was unnecessary and that it wasn't really a war, it was considered a police act, and that it was something that we were just there for political reasons and not really fighting for our independence of our country.
How do you feel about it? Or how did you felt when that happened? And do you remember what you were doing?
Well, I kind of remember what I was doing. I was working like a dog. I had a prune ranch, and I was either on the ranch or I had a construction company, and I was building roads, subdivision roads, when 9/11 happened, and I was stunned, I was angry, and I was a little bit critical of the United States by letting it happen, because they let these foreigners, too many of these foreigners into this country too easy. So I was just like everybody else. I was shocked and I was mad and I had different feelings.
Experiences about 9/11 and how you felt.
I was actually getting ready for work that morning, and I turned on the news, and when I seen what was going on, at first I felt that it was like a movie reenactment of something, because no one really kind of figured that something like this would happen. Unfortunately, my ignorance to terrorism brought a big reality to me at that time when I seen what happened to the towers. It's not really a structural thing for me as much as it was that I felt that I was personally violated by the fact that someone could come in and murder people without rhyme or reason. And I just, it was my reality check at that point in time in my life that there is much out there that people need to be more aware of.